Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are looking to improve your AP Lang essays, I have a thesis statement formula that will really help you with question 1, the synthesis, and question 3, the argument essay. Now, if you're also in any kind of AP history class or AP Gov, this formula also works for those classes as well. So we're going to go over what the formula is, what the parts are, and then I'm going to show you a couple quick samples so that you can understand how this actually applies to AP Lang prompts. There are multiple variations of this formula, but I believe it is commonly attributed to John Irish and used in a lot of AP history classes. However, it does work very well for question 3 and question 1 on the AP Lang exam. So the formula is although X, A and B, therefore Y. Now, I know that sounds kind of like a really weird math problem, but all of those variables actually pertain to specific parts of an argument. So in that formula, X stands for the counter argument. And if you're not familiar with that term, basically what it means is the side opposite of what you're trying to argue for or against. So whatever your stance is, whatever people would say that's opposite of that or against that, that's the counter argument. So in order to prove your point, you need to acknowledge the opposing side and then refute it. So this is a two-part process. The next part where it says A and B, those are either examples or reasons. So it kind of depends on what you intend to talk about and what your prompt actually is. In the sample that I'm going to show you later on in this video, it's more reasons than examples because the reasons lead to commentary and they're specific enough that your reader will know what you intend to talk about, generally speaking, but it's not overly specific to where you actually give away all of your evidence too early on, because if you say too much in your thesis and you get too specific, then it actually makes your essay seem really redundant. But if you're not specific enough, then your essay is really vague and it seems like it has no direction. So there is this balance here. And so I think it's important to decide if you want to put examples in your thesis statement or if you want to put reasons. You can combine them and do both depending on how you do it. You don't want it to be too clunky. But in the example that we're going to look at, it's more of a reasons concept because I think that allows for more commentary, which is what a lot of students struggle with. So if you can get the reasons out there early on in the essay, it can actually help you think about your argument a little bit more deeply. So the why part is your argument. And so this is your claim, your stance, your position. We call it different things, but it all really means the same thing. And so you need a thesis that is arguable. You need to make a claim that people can either say, yes, I agree with you, or no, I don't. And so that's where your position, your voice, the stance that you intend to argue in your paper shines through. So we want to end with the position that you intend to take. So you start with the counterclaim, you start with the opposite, but then you end with the position that you are going to be asserting throughout your essay. Now that we know the formula, let's see how it actually looks like in practice. So this is from the 2018 exam prompt, the idea of exploring the unknown. So we have the sentence, although exploring the unknown can be frightening or even dangerous, it can yield scientific advancements and social progress. Therefore, one must pursue the unknown with a balance of zeal and caution. So what we've got going on here is we've got this although, so that indicates a contrast. So the counter argument is that exploring the unknown is dangerous and frightening. So those are the negatives, but we're going to shift and we're going to actually explain why it's positive. So even though it's negative, it can yield scientific advancements and social progress. So presumably the examples that the student will give later on in the paper tie back to either scientific advancement or social progress. So we don't know exactly what type of advancements or progress we're talking about, but we at least have like some kind of reason here, which is sufficient. And then we've got this idea that it requires a balance of zeal and caution. So zeal has a positive connotation and caution has a bit more of like a negative connotation. So we have this juxtaposition here of concepts. So the argument that the student is actually making is that we should pursue the unknown, but with a little bit of restriction or restraint. And so there's some nuance to this claim here. We're avoiding absolutisms, so we're not saying that we should always pursue the unknown. We're not saying that we should never pursue the unknown. We don't want to operate in the always and never category. We want to be somewhere in the spectrum in between. And notice that it says one must. So just generally speaking, in terms of good writing, we want to try to avoid the word you, because you means you're directly addressing your reader. And in actuality, you're just speaking very generally here. So someone or one is more appropriate. So that's one way to apply the formula. Now let's look at a different example that has the same concepts but a slightly different structure. This example says exploring the unknown can be frightening. So we have the counter argument. And instead of although, we use the word however. This word however also suggests contrast though. So we know that we're about to move into the benefits of it or the values of it, which is what we're trying to assert. So it says, however, it can also lead to personal growth and scientific discovery. Therefore, one must cautiously pursue the unknown in instances where the rewards outweigh the risks. Okay, so a little bit cliche there at the end, but it's still getting to the same point as the previous example. It's just structured differently, but it has all the same parts. Counter argument, in this case, reasons and not examples, like why, which the why leads to commentary, so that's important. So I like that there's reasons here and not necessarily examples. And then this claim that you need to find a balance. You can't always pursue it and throw caution to the wind, but you at the same time don't want to always stay inside your comfort zone either. So we have a clear claim here that can be argued, and we have a general sense of what the student is going to argue without knowing every single thing that they're going to say in the paper. Because if you say it all in the thesis, then you have nothing left for the body paragraphs. So I think both of these represent successful counter-argument thesis statements. I think both of these would set up an essay well, and it shows that the student has thought of the nuances of the situation and has a clear direction for their essay. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful in showing you how to construct a counter-argument thesis statement for an argumentative essay. If you did find this video helpful and you want to see more videos like this, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications. Give this video a thumbs up. All right, guys, if you are taking that AP Lang test soon, best of luck. Try to keep calm and just keep writing.